absolutely blazing, just incredible hot weather, over 100 degrees yesterday. I don't know where we were, but thankful for today, in the midst of our 90 degrees right now, it's moving up to 99. You're here, thank you that chose to be here this Sunday, and thank you very much. And today I'd just like to talk about, my topic for today is transparency, empathy, non-judgment, and trust. It's something that I've just been going through a lot, and it naturally became my title. But before I'd like to get into this topic today, I just want to take a look at this video.
Well, welcome to the Amish Farm and House. My name is Eric, and I'll be giving you a brief tour of who the Amish are, their lifestyle, their clothing, why they do the things they do. Right now, you're at the Amish Farm and House in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We are the first Amish home open to the public. We opened in 1955.
Eric Connor is the marketing director of the Amish House and Farm. He says, the Amish people choose to live a simple life based on their religious beliefs.
They came from Europe, specifically Germany and Switzerland. In 1693, they were a persecuted religious group. Because of that persecution, they were forced to meet in homes, meet in basements, meet in caves for their church services. So when they came to America, they wanted to keep using their homes as their church buildings.
The Amish are very devout and take seriously the biblical commands to separate themselves from things of the modern world, including electricity. Power comes from propane, kerosene, wood, coal, or natural gas. Their simple life is even reflected in their plain clothing. Connor explains the dress inside this Amish girl's room.
This is not only a church dress, it's also her wedding dress. At the wedding is the last time that she wears the white. After the ceremony is over, she comes up to her room, takes off this cape and this apron, saves them for the rest of her life, because the next time she's wearing them, she's wearing these two pieces in the coffin.
Connor says, in the Amish community, hats tell men apart from boys.
And here's a teenager's hat. You know he's a teenager by the flatness of his hat and also the ridge around the top. This means that he's in this, what they call the running around period, meaning they can date, they can choose whether to become Amish or not. Becoming Amish is voluntary. It's not mandatory.
As the world around the peaceful farmland changes, so have some of the traditions of the Amish. Lester Hoover, a tour guide at the farm, says transportation is no longer limited to horse-drawn buggies.
There's a division among the Amish over the automobile. One group got automobiles, another group kept the horse and buggy. We just simply name them old order, drive the horse and buggy, and the new order, drive automobile. And they have electric, and they have meeting houses, and they don't have green shades.
But many traditions remain. Amish children attend one-room schoolhouses through the 8th grade, and farming is the mainstay of Amish life. Hoover says there are normally 2 horses on a farm for buggies. Several mules are kept for farming. Milking is one of the most important sources of income on the farm. Many Amish leaders believe their separation from the outside world strengthens their community, and that community is thriving. Despite what many on the outside would describe as a backwards lifestyle, the Amish population in Lancaster County has almost tripled over the past half-century. For producer Liu Wenming, Elaine Lu, VOA News.
Great. Great. Thank you, Evan. Thank you. Yes, definitely the Amish culture. Culture that I really respect a lot. Because they were able to maintain their tradition and culture in the midst of the city. I mean, we are very close to the Amish culture. How many people have been on Amish land before? Almost everyone. Have you been there, Kevin? Okay, well, it's a very interesting place to visit, and the wonderful food out there. It's really, I recommend. There are special food that there are a couple of places that really they're serving the incredible Amish fresh chickens and all but really the Amish culture, they're able to survive in the middle of the city. They're New York City to right here in Lancaster too are very much the tourist area, especially right now in the summertime. You know, there were shopping center, the mall, to just like we see here in Philadelphia, but they were able to maintain their culture and maintain their dress, and which actually I was always wondering, I've been wondering how they were able to keep their culture, maintain not only the culture, but even to outfits and to buggies. As you heard, this is my first time I heard it too, the split between people driving cars, chose to drive a car, and chose to still continue to keep their tradition. Well, it makes sense, but yet, which is quite amazing to me, but there is a time period called the running around. Running around time period where from age 17 to 21, they're allowed to go out and know Amish culture, to, of course, to find their loved ones perhaps, or maybe to discover the outside culture. And when they come back, they are allowed to choose whether they can stay in the culture of Amish or leave, move on, finding somewhere else. I mean, it's a very much pretty much clear cut. It'll be whether stay in the Amish culture or you have to go on. But they were giving a choice. Here it is, I don't know if you know, have you seen it called Attack of Titans? Oh, not many people here, right? But younger generations are very much, oh yeah, you know Attack of Titan, Shingeki of Kyojin, is that right? It's a very much, it's a popular animation. And also, by the way, I like the red hair queen Yona. It's a Korean actually animation too. I'm waiting for season part 2. It's a very messianic animation, but this one too is a very interesting one. Season part 3. Season 1, now the king has been traditionally telling his citizens, the people that there are no people. Oh my God! Watch out! Now, right. Everybody had to stay inside because they all need to be protected from the giant monsters. Demonic monsters out there trying to eating people. So many people are so they need to be protected inside a wall. And the generation after generation, they were told that they are protected. They have to be protected from outside of these evil monsters. And people have been extinct, all gone. Season part 1, season 2, we've been trying to figure out who are those monsters, who are this evil monster or eating people. They eat people, okay? All right. Now we've been trying to find out. Season part 3, we discover the people are there. These monsters are actually identity of these monsters are in fact here. Actually, enemy people from enemy nation, injecting a virus from the back of their neck to their people from the wall city. People from the wall city has been living outside, some of them are. They were captured, slaved, they were injected with the virus, so they became big, and then they attacked their own city. They realized those giant monsters of their own people are just enlarged through the virus injected from back to their neck. So they're fighting with their own people. They're not enemies. They're just deformed on their citizens coming from outside of their wall city. So, interesting story. And then on the season number 3, I discovered that actually there were a whole bunch of people, another nations, all outside of the wall city, but wall city has been protected by an island. The king from the wall city decided to create a wall so that preventing from his people to go outside was not protecting outside enemy coming in, but protecting or preventing his own people moving outside of the wall, or leaving outside the wall. And we're still waiting for season number 4 because they're going to face a new enemy, humans, outside of the island. This reminds me, it's like Japan. Japan has been protected by the island for so many years. About 100 years ago, it has been open to other nations. But the old people, that Japanese that travel outside of a country came back with a different kind of culture. Drug culture, music culture, all kinds of sort of foreign elements, bring it into a nation. It's like a monsters. Eating up. Our people will keep the tradition for so many years of certain tradition we value has been invaded, sort of, because this animation came from Japan. Or perhaps North Korea. Preventing from people to move out of land, maintaining their belief within the nation, preventing people from coming from outside in, is about mental stage or political, ideological, or perhaps cultural, or maybe religious organization, community like Amish. Amazing, living in the community, living in New York City, or living in the middle of very flourish, current, beautiful society. They were able to maintain their culture. It is somehow within their mental. There's a wall with them to able to keep their beautiful culture from invasion of the monsters, perhaps. Maybe. Inclusive. What is it, good or bad? Welcoming a culture or not welcoming a culture? That is my question today. I respect. At the same time, I mean, by the way, Amish community was kept their, what they really cherish the most is a family. They kept their family intact, beautiful, working togetherness. They are not really depends on the government. They create their own bank, their own financial system. They were able to build, community build the house, helping each other. These sort of beautiful value, they kept it for century after century, which is amazing. At the same time, as you see, it's one race. They were now mixed. You see one race of an Amish culture, you see it, which is maybe perhaps very important. At the same time, in the sort of international culture, global culture we're living in, though I see a lot of separation between two communities. Outside of Amish culture, I call it outside of Amish culture, or inside of Amish culture. Same thing to Starbucks. Now, it was the first Starbucks ever, standalone location here, Brigham Young University campus. Why the so big things about, what big deal about creating a Starbucks in front of Brigham Young University? Not inside, but outside of Brigham Young University, Utah. Why having a Starbucks coffee, it's a big thing in Utah or in front of Brigham Young University? The symbol of a leadership. They are raising a leadership of tomorrow's, perhaps, Mormon ministry, community. They were not allowed to drink coffee. If you join the Mormons, not only alcohol, not only smoking, but no coffee. Coffee is prohibited in the community. Having a Starbucks coffee in front of Brigham Young University is a direct threat to their teaching. But of course, they cannot keep the Starbucks out of it because by law, the Starbucks has been protected because it is just up to the Starbucks whether they're going to build it. Is it marketable? To build the Starbucks in front of Brigham Young, or no customer come in. Every day empty because everybody follows the law or rule of the Mormons. So nobody dare step into it, into the Mormon Starbucks coffee shop. I believe Starbucks coffee shop is filled with the students every single day. They're gonna make a killing out there. Running around, right. Running around time where people want to taste some coffee. People can choose whether they're gonna go continue drinking coffee or stop drinking coffee or no more coffee. It's up to them. in my company, Chuo Food, I often challenge my Islam brothers, bringing pork into the table. I say, hey, everybody wants to eat my food. Everyone want to eat my beloved Islamic brothers. They love to eat my food. I say, I share some of the food, but I say, hey, before you eat my food, it's gotta be a pork challenge when you bring. You gotta eat a pork first before you put a lunch. Oh no, I can't do that. Or rather, come on, let's eat some pork together. I mean, we can make a joke like this. We are so good friends. They don't mind to talk about it, you know. Pork has it has own vitamin B1. It's good for you. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, right, sorry. It's against the teachings. Correct. Yes, I understand. What about us? What about the unification culture? What is it equivalent to coffee, pork? It's up to you. Everybody has different opinions. However, what is it? How much? Inclusive or exclusive? How much we're able to welcome and welcome? From a viewpoint of the transparency, from a perspective of the no judgment, or trust, empathy. Oh, right. It's my, right, so this is really, the story of our family is something that is very deeply related to what we've been talking about here today. As I mentioned so many times, again and again, I would like to mention to you there, transparency is a very important. Transparency and empathy is the way to actually diminish the feeling of shame and guilt. More of myself or our younger generation experiencing shame or guilt began to leave our faith community. Whatever it is, whether pork or coffee or anything that is, you eating pork? My God! You are God condemned to hell. I mean, if you continue telling a child, you condemn him because you ate pork, you drink coffee, or whatever it is, the pork coffee version of what we believe, you condemn to hell, or you look like telling them to condemn to hell. I had to tell you something. It is my opinions and suggestions. Why are you doing that? Why are you eating a pork? Why are you doing this in our community? More the gap we're going to have, it creates the shame. And shame, and again, definition of shame is, and once again, what's the difference between guilt and a shame, by the way? Guilt is what? When you make a mistake or somebody made a mistake, guilt is, well, if you ask for forgiveness, you're forgiven. You feel better. You feel better and I was healed. Or you feel better and you feel I'm healed. I'm doing fine. Because I was forgiven. What about the shame? When you commit the mistakes, let's see. You ask for forgiveness? No, actually you don't ask for forgiveness because you are the mistake itself. I don't ask for forgiveness because I feel I'm a mistake in myself. I am the mistake. I'm a part of the mistake. I am the mistake. So there's no way for this person to be healed. So only way for this person, the feeling of shame to decrease by empathy or by with creating an environment of non-judgment. All right, non-judgment, in other words, doesn't mean that exactly, it means not that I accept what you believe, I completely believe, I accept what you believe. It's not the non-judgment. Non-judgment means that I don't agree with you, although I understand you well. I understand. It's so important to understand, even though you don't agree with it. Do you know the difference? You don't need to agree with it, but you can understand through empathy. Set aside of our teachings, coffee, pork, whatever equivalent to what we learn, what we know here today. What is it? Or is there anything that somebody else can mention? What is it equivalent to to pork and coffee and whatever it is? Yeah, alcohol is one thing. Perhaps a drug. Anything else? That we say no to ourselves, to our children, to our entire community. What is it? Anything that you know? Something that we feel very against, or something that we feel...
Romantic attraction.
Romantic attraction. Romantic attraction. Anything else? Eating chicken? All right, so I'm sorry, I gotta get back with this. Now, okay, great, wonderful. So this is a family between a Larry family and a Osaka family. We just had a commitment ceremony, July 13th, 2019. We're very happy couples. We're very happy parents. I tell you, it's been a wonderful journey for 7 months. What happened was that I know the Mita and the Suncook were at the same spring workshop about a little more than a year ago. I had to give a talk then. I gave a talk. That talk was a very kind of messed up. Naomi's smiling because she knows exactly how messed up I was. I thought I really went on the my talk was very, and then 2 people that really apologized, and then 3 people. First of all, the workshop coordinators, Kira and Suncook. I apologize for what I say. My talk was very much sort of way off the topic. And another person I really apologized was Amita. I just met her outside, whoever it is. But I felt comfortable to tell her that I'm very sorry. I didn't know who she was. I just simply apologized. I'm very sorry. Well, I didn't mean to say that, but anyway, I hope you can understand my heart. And she said, no problem, don't worry. Oh, okay, thank you. But much later on, and Suka has been talking about Mita to me and my wife often. And I found out that Mita has been talking about Suncook to her parents quite often. And Mita's mother told her that it is better for you guys to go through the process because we as a parents are a little bit uncomfortable, I mean, hearing all that's beautiful. Shakti, thank you for sharing with us, telling us. It is beautiful culture, the children sharing honestly about their feelings. And we really understand, we very much understand. At the same time, we're feeling a little bit of anxious and anxiety comes in, little worries. And so Mita's mother told her, why don't we go through the process of matching? Okay. So all of us got on the same phone together. We got on the conference call, but it was about 7 months ago. And then we decided to go forward. And we prayerfully moved forward, and every 40 days, we all on the conference call, and parents and children, and communicate together. We decided that we can be a team. Suncook, my wife and I are team 1. Mita and Christy and the parents, parents are Mita, they are more like a team. We have 2 teams, but 2 teams come together, 1 team. So a team within a team, we discuss together. We set the rule: transparency, empathy, no judgment, and trust. Transparency, yes, means that transparent. I can see you very clearly. I can see through. Transparent means no secret between parents and child. Sometimes kind of how foolish it is. Kind of how foolish that my wife and I, if my children, our children are telling everybody else and not to us. Is It happens many times among our parents, isn't it? Friend knows, but we don't know. Happen in a high school, happen in a college. Many friends knows what's happening, but parents just don't know how dumb that is. How horrible the idea is for me. Is that parents are just like honest and smiling. My children are going fine, but children share with everybody else about what's going on. That is why it is so important that creating an environment for children to freely share, communicate with the parents. That is a transparency amongst the teams, within the team. Not that this is everything's absolutely right, you have to do this, but we amongst the team together discuss, we move forward, and the final 21 days, for the 7th month, we really went through a lot of sort of like ups and downs, rough sort of oceans sometimes, because of trying to adjusting ourselves to transparency, honesty, and empathy, and non-judgment. But two people, our parents and children, come from two very different cultures. And we're talking about transparency and honesty. Right? For example, do you know about the Russian people? My neighbors, my boss, my landlord is Russian. My neighbors are Russian. And back in 1992, we you know how Russia became open. We've been fighting against communism for a long time. But 1991, I think it was, we welcomed the Russian students, waving the Russian flag. Before we torched the Russian flag, we torched it. But now we're waving the Russian flag, welcoming all the students in New York. And we're trying to be a good friend to Russian students, and I was one of the staff, so Christine, Mita's mother, and everybody else. And we smiled and we asked the questions. What is your name? Where you're from? And what you're doing? Who are you? But they never really shared with us information. They never really wanted to share with us honestly. Not everyone, but some people really hesitate to share information. Where their background, who they were, where they graduated, where they live. It is because they grew up in a culture of secret. And find out, amazing. I could not speak Russian. Kevin can speak Russian, but I could not speak Russians. None of our staff could not speak Russians. However, they all believe we can speak fluent Russians. We understand fluently what they're talking about, but we pretend to speak English only. That's how they view us, and they are afraid of. Who are these people? Americans suddenly smiling and asking us and talk to us, be a friend, become a friend to us. The parents who grew up in the baby boomers in Russia, talking about transparency. And children talking about the transparency, no secrecy. Two coming from two different cultures and trying to aim at the same goal. Now, matching cultures are beautiful. Parents used to be, back in days when I was a young people, 24, Father Moon matched us. I was at 28, sorry. Through photograph or actual person. Father Moon matched 60,000 people, one by one, or 12,000 people. That was a traditional culture. But today, of course, after passing of Father Moon, now we as our parents became the matchmakers, right? However, my children, if I wanted to find a match for my son, I could not find. I would probably never find Mita as the perfect match based on the culture I came from. Man's supposed to be taller than a woman. Man was supposed to be taller than a woman. Man's supposed to be this way. Otherwise, the man will suffer for a long time in the future. One thing that we worry, a little bit worry, is that I hope he will not be intimidated or, going through a difficult path from now, difficult journey. But I really believe this is one of the most coolest couples that I ever met. This is going to be a future model, I believe. Why not? Men have a woman that is twice taller than you are. The woman will carry you at the back and walk. Why not? Why not? It's a cool thing to have. Breaking the concept, getting out of the box. That's why conclusion of our discussion for 7 months of this period until the commitment ceremony is that my children, my son's actually the person who are willing to go out of the box. They were not able to fit in the box that I had prepared for them. My wife and I prepared a beautiful box to fit them into the box. Here we go. Let's fit right in there. Go by the book. Go by the book. Fits right into the box. Try to fit yourself into it. But they were not able to fit in. That's why we got into some arguments sometimes along the way. We don't want to fit in the box you prepare. I have my own personal realm. I'm a round, not the square. No, you gotta fit in the square box right here. Come on right there, little bird. Come into the bird cage. Come on. But they insist not to get into the bird cage. They want to fly out of the cage. That's all right. That's okay. We understand. But the trust is the most important. Transparency, but empathy. No judgment, but trust is very important for their lives. We've been struggling to try to understand what is it that makes us so difficult between us, between parent and child. I don't know if you ever experienced it. You to your parents, a parent to your children, you've been going through some challenge sometimes? Yeah? Well, it is because of this. Yes. Jeanette and I have been discussing about this for the last couple of days. Baby boomers, my wife and I represent the last of the Mohicans, or last of the samurais, or last of the baby boomer, 1964. Here, my son, born in 1995, represented Generation Z. There were 2 generations behind us. Generation Baby Boomer, Generation X and Y and Z. Generation Y, in other words, the millennials. They all grew up in very different environment. I can't really go into details. But every generation grew up in a very different environment. Their influence, their perspectives are very different, I believe. I shouldn't say not very, but slightly different. But however, talking about 2 generations between us, gotta have some difference in opinions and suggestions and some points. Well, I value family very much. I grew up, our church also valued family very much. Parenting, and I myself personally realized it's very hard to agree, or I should say, family of 2-parent children. I personally value a lot. My sister, Michael, who is 6 years older than I am, younger than I am, sorry. She married at the age of 21, before I got married, so she had beautiful twin daughter. And her husband is about the same age as I am right now, or was. Because I left my home when I was 15, she lost her older brother. In return, she's looking for someone that perhaps about my age, looking for brother's love. She found in her boyfriend, and she got married. She was pregnant, she married, beautiful 2 daughters, And she went through a lot of struggle with her husband 5 years later. She asked my wife, my mother to myself, I cannot bear this, I want to get divorced. And I, right out of my head, I just told her, that's not good. Divorce is not good. I think I encourage you to try the best you can to stay, because you have a 2 daughter, it's not really good for your children too. And my sister really expressed her difficulty, because it's just continuation of fight between husband and wife, her and her husband, and just pour upon to children. Children get affected negatively. They hear, they listen to the everyday fight and quarrel, and she just was going through a lot. She was not happy at all. She just went through almost like a hell. And here is an ideal, but I have to push that ideal away, because I try to speak to my heart. If she's going through that pain, then it is better for her to get a divorce, because it's good for you and good for your daughter. I don't want your daughter experiencing the parents fighting every single day. It's better to separate and get divorced. Yes, I agree with you. For your happiness, please. And she found another boyfriend. And she wanted to get married with him. And I asked, how old is he? He was 15 years younger than she is. I mean, here it is, of course, some kind of normal here in America probably, but in Japan, women's are 15 years older. I'm sorry, did I say the man, the younger or younger? Younger. He is a young man. Oh my goodness, he's like still 26. My daughter was like 40, less than 40. 26. And okay, do you like my daughter? My sister? Yes. I want to get married with her. Are you okay? Yeah. They both agree with it. I said, why not? Why not? Why not? Getting out of this sort of concept and traditions that are, how we kind of grew within Japan, within our family, but why not? Well, now they're having 3 children. I mean, additional 3 after 2, 3 more children. 5 altogether. So they're a very happy couple. Very happy couple. I just never know what happened. But speaking from my heart is very important. This generations. So anyway, the conclusion is that I think it's really, yes, the question is, I want to just cast another question. Inclusive or exclusive? Are we allowed to bring a culture in or not in? Or somebody moderate, or what happened? That's right. What time is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's almost about 5.
Okay, yeah, okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, so can we be able to, how much the culture come in? How much? Or are we being very much inclusive, bringing everybody in? And to educating? Or how? All these things that are still definitely questions. But anyway, thank you everybody, and I'd just like to actually make this as maybe discussion sessions. Well, next perhaps 15 minutes, 15 minutes, if you can find your own group like on 4 or 5 or 6, and let's have a discussion session right now for 15 minutes. I tell you to stop when 15 minutes pass, but let's have a discussion, 15 minutes.